So ladies and gentlemen, we'll start with our session for the day. The session is themed Transforming the Legal Profession, Review of the Existing Framework in Line with Future Needs, particularly for Corporate India. To moderate this session, we have with us Ms. Minnie Vandepal, Asia Pacific Head, Investigations, Compliance and Ethics Group, Chair of India Practice, Baker McKenzie. Welcome, ma'am. We also have with us our guest of honor, Justice Arjun Kumar Sikri, former Judge, Supreme Court of India, Judge of International Commercial Court of Singapore. Welcome, sir. We also have our distinguished guest, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, Sri Sasmit Patra, an articulate leader and advocate. He serves on several crucial parliamentary committees. Let us extend a very warm welcome to him. We would like to mention that Dr. Lalit Bhasin was also joining us today. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, he could not be here. Please join me in welcoming our next distinguished guest, Dr. Rajiv Mani, Secretary, Legislative Department, Ministry of Law and Justice, Government of India. His profound expertise has been instrumental in advising the Union government on critical constitutional and legal matters. Welcome, sir. It is also my privilege to introduce Sri Mahavir Singhvi on stage, a senior Indian Foreign Service official currently holding the position of Joint Secretary, New Emerging and Strategic Technologies. Welcome, sir. Also, please join me in welcoming Sri Mahesh Agarwal. He's a highly respected legal professional providing services to corporate India. We are truly privileged to have your presence with us today. We also would like to welcome Dr. Anshul Vikram Pandey, the founder and chief builder at Pan Science Innovations. And joining us for the discussion as GCAI representative, we have Sri Hemant Kumar, Group General Counsel of Larsen & Toubro Limited. Without further ado, we would now commence the session. Thank you.
Perhaps we could ask people to be brought in as well. I have the most amazing panel, and I would not want anyone to miss out on hearing from them. It also happens to be probably the biggest panel I've ever had to moderate. As mentioned, my name is Minnie Menon Vandepal. I'm a partner with Baker McKenzie. We are one of those international law firms eager to be physically present with an office in India. So this is a very exciting opportunity for us, and I thank the GCAI for their leadership, their foresight, and the way that they are guiding the discourse in terms of topics which are so important today. So I am going to, without delay, start, because there are a couple of our panel members who do have other commitments and may need to leave prior to the end of the session. I had a number of different topics I wanted to cover, but I'm going to go to probably the one that means the most. You know, we have a lot of seminars and sessions, and we talk a lot, whether that's with government, with industry bodies, with law firms, with in-house counsel. But what we want is action. And the reason we need the action is to promote foreign direct investment in India. We want to give lawyers opportunities. We want them to be on the global stage. We want them to have the learning of global best practice and the experience of cross-border business transactions. So that's where I come from a firm that believes that India is not only going to be one of the powerhouses and is already leading the way from an economic standpoint, but it also has the opportunity to lead the way from a legal sector standpoint. So many of our clients are now starting to establish their regional headquarters here in India. Of course, the Indian conglomerates, and you have Hemant here from Larsen & Toubro, speak of the business need of creating more opportunities in the legal sector. So without further ado, I'm going to ask the basic question, which is, what is the single biggest change that India must make in its legal services sector to become more competitive on the global stage? And with that, I'm going to first ask Justice Sikri to give a few words. Please, if you could answer the question or provide your few words.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think this is the most pertinent question and the theme of this session also. If I may say so, just giving a prelude to it, I know, I mean, time is the constraint in this session, and when particularly we have so many panelists, as you have rightly mentioned. When we talk of legal profession in India, I was just when Justice Maheshri was giving his inaugural speech. So I was remembering when he said that in our times, law used to be the last resort. If we are not able to get admission in any other course, we'll join law. And I was at that time remembering two anecdotes, which I may say. One is of our time, one is of present time, and it may reflect the future as well. We had our teacher in law school. I've done my LLB from Delhi University Law Faculty. So he used to say jokingly, the students don't come here to do law, but they come here to find in-laws. So those were the times. Now, fast forward by, say, about 40 years. Few years ago, I know many of you may be remembering, may not be remembering, there was one television show which was moderated by Mr. This film actress Anupam Kher. And in that show, he would, every time when at this show, I think it was weekly or something, was 7 or 8 children, maybe from 7, 8 years to 13, 14 years of age. So he used to discuss with them so many things and how, and it was becoming very interesting, that program. So I saw one episode where he asked, must be a 9-year-old girl. So he says, what you want to become in your life? I mean, in our time, 9 years, we won't even understand what is this, that your career. And her answer was amazing. She didn't say that I want to become a lawyer. Of course, she said about legal profession. Her answer was, I want to become a corporate lawyer. I mean, at the age of 9, she not only knew what the law is, but she knew the nuances also and the various facets also. So that was about maybe 10 years ago. And now we are talking in this session of what the legal phase would be in 2047 or what we need to do. Actually, if you see, when we were students, I was student back in 1974 to 1977, I did law. So 77, I passed out. In 2 years' time, I will be completing 50 years in this profession. But the law, see, Constitution has come. At that time, in 1950, Constitution was one of the most important subject. We were ingrained into, or we imbibed the values of rule of law and constitutionalism while, as I say, walking in the corridors of our law faculty. And those were the days when we joined the profession also in 77, and here many who have done practice in India and they are of my times or immediately thereafter would be knowing that in mid-70s and till early 80, 81, so we had that social justice court with Justice Krishna, Justice Reddy, and many others of that. And so therefore, it was at that time social justice. We have to do justice for the people. That, and we were all told, and there were many judgments of that time also, telling the lawyers that what is your role in this society. Ensuring access to justice to the people, ensuring that people get justice. And here people was a common man, marginalized section of the society, etc. We come to 1991, when India ushered into the era of liberalization and globalization. So that changed the trajectory. And with that, naturally, we became a part of the global world. our laws which were limited to, their relevance within India, we had to have those laws which are competitive with or which are in consonance with international best practices. Many reforms took place in that. So convergence of laws, and as we know, even Arbitration Act in 1996 on the basis of ancestral law, on the basis of what WIPO, the suggestions of WIPO, our intellectual property laws change, whether it is this Trademark Act, entire new act came into force, many changes in the copyright law, many changes in the Patent Act, etc. So India marched towards, as far as statutory regime is concerned, yes, we should also have the laws which are there. And in the process, what happens, the trajectory legal ecosystem also changes. Apart from, yes, justice for the marginalized section of the society, which still remains. It will remain maybe till in 2047 we become as we say, a country which is a developed country, still not fully developed, maybe something else. But today we have that section of the society, marginalized section, and many other sections who need justice. So that remains. So as I say that now the legal profession is on that railway track where two parallel lines. On the other hand, we have entered into the era of globalization where total change, as I see, because when I joined the bench in 1999, and before that I had been doing arbitration cases and other types of cases, they were all domestic. When during my period as judge, I found some of the cases which international flavor, etc. But after my retirement, when I'm acting as an arbitrator and as an arbitrator in so many international arbitrations also, so complexities of the disputes are changing, trajectory is totally changing, and in all these fields, it's not only international arbitration where complex matters are coming, but then there are many, many other, including, as I said, patents also, intellectual property also. And another thing which is happening is at fast pace, the technology which is changing. And this technological development has again brought into, if I may say, in very shortly and without going into the details, has opened many areas of new practice, etc. So Indian lawyers, now coming to, because I wanted, Indian lawyers have to now not only compete with lawyers and have to attain that standards which the international committee expects, but also have to equip itself, the lawyers in this country and the legal profession has to equip itself what is happening around the world. And today we are in a very peculiar situation. And here I'm talking of the entire world. From globalization, as I always call, now in last few years, we are now in the era of globalization. There's globalization, which will remain, but there is attempt everywhere. You see whether it is why Brexit happened, because for British own internal reasons, what is happening in America, we know. And India also talks of Atmanirbhar and Viksit Bharat, etc. So we want that, and made in India and everything, yeah, it should be there, but at the same time, we have to be a part of international community. We need foreign direct investment. So those collaborations would remain with other countries also. So one-to-one, maybe things are happening in that sense, which is a geopolitical. So the Indian lawyers have to keep abreast themselves of all that is happening, and it is going to change. It is already changing, but going to change the legal landscape of India or Indian lawyers, the kind of challenges which we'll have to face. And as now Delhi arbitration weekend is going, if you know, and there are many, almost all stakeholders from other nations, they have come and they are having their sessions here. So, and India wants to become a hub in international arbitration. So all these calls for so many, and the changes have to be starting from law colleges, the continuing legal education, and I would say I'm sitting here in this a conference organized by General Council, time has come to even recognize them more and have to ingrain them in the main legal system and have to really do that. So therefore, so many other things which we need to do in order to ensure that we are also competitive as with others. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Secretary. I think they're excellent points, and in fact, topics that I think we could probably commandeer the rest of the afternoon for. Dr. Mani, I'm really interested to hear your perspective from the government. The government have been also very supportive about ensuring that the legal sector is strong, is capable, and is competitive in the global market. Perhaps you could share with us what you think the single biggest change that India should be making to provide that greater competitiveness out of the legal sector.
Well, thank you. That is a very relevant question and, of course, very topical to the theme of this conference. Nyaya, Nirmaan. We are an ancient civilization, and law has been a very basic ingredient of our ancient heritage and civilization. We have grown the Dharam Shastras to the present modern times of our constitution. The evolution of jurisprudence since the adoption of the constitution and its enforcement has been phenomenal. And as mentioned by Justice Sikri sir, the scope for legal profession is immense. What I could observe during the last 75 years of our independence, that initially it was the era of the Indian intellectuals, academicians who occupied high spaces at the global stages. Then came the persons from the medical profession. They had made a mark for themselves in the global arena. And then I think it followed the IT revolution, where the IT professionals from India made a mark at the world stage. I see this century and the coming years as the stage for legal professionals. The talent which India has, the rich pool of legal minds, be it judges, be it advocates, be it general counsels as of date, in whose conference we are sitting today, or be it the law students. The change which we find when I graduated in 1991 from Campus Law Center, Delhi, and I had this feeling that I knew everything. And one day in the court, and I came to realize that I knew nothing. I started from the very basics, of course, tying up with the munshi who was attached with the senior, and then learning the various court practices and procedures. But coming to the present times, and since this inception of the 5 years legal curriculum and the Bangalore University, of which the Vice Chancellor was there in the last session, there has been a phenomenal change, and a lot of opportunities are coming to the Indian advocates and law graduates. The whole profession of legal counsels also, I think, owes its strength to the curriculum and the training which they have received in the national law schools. So when we were there, after we passed out our 12th, we were not sure what to do. We did our BA, and as Justice Maheshwari Saab, Chairman Law Commission, mentioned that law was okay, chalo kuch nahi hai to law kar lete hain. But anyway, things have changed tremendously, and I think it is the era of the Indian legal professionals to make their mark at the world stage. And for this, the regulatory reforms, which as the prime regulator in our country, the Bar Council of India is concerned, I must share this, that I could, when I was given this responsibility in the government to take forward this agenda of opening up of the legal services sector, I could bring both initially it began from a request from the government, Department of Justice of the Government of UK and the Law Society of the England and Wales, that we should open up the legal services sector. And I thought it is a great opportunity for the Indian law graduates and Indian students who are pursuing law to make their mark not only on the corporate law field, but in other fields also. And if the Bar Council of India could open the legal profession for foreign lawyers, equally we will be benefited, because those countries on reciprocal basis would also be permitting the Indian law students to set up their offices and practice in their jurisdictions. So with those efforts, in 23, initially the Bar Council of India framed the entry of foreign lawyer rules, and thereafter now again, there were certain gaps in those rules which have now been tried to be addressed by the Bar Council, and the new regulations have been issued this year, May of 2025. And they are yet to be operational, but I think it's a great step. While the entry of foreign lawyers in the Indian legal services market, which the advocates and the Bar Council particularly vehemently defends that advocacy should not be called a service, it's a noble profession. And so, given those constraints, the foreign lawyers who want to, foreign law firms or foreign individual lawyers who want to set up an office in India, they can only practice in the non-litigation area and not appear before the courts or tribunals. But I think this is also a great opportunity for Indian lawyers who would be, of course, be a part of those legal big foreign law firms who will be coming to India. And I think the Bar Council has done a great thing that if those advocates, Indian qualified advocates, Indian law qualified advocates, if they want to practice individually, they can still do it by the strength of their enrollment under the state, with the State Bar Council under the Advocates Act 1961. I see immense potential for in this. It may look a small step for the present, but it has opened up potentials for the Indian legal professionals not only to excel in cases which are, have cross-border implications, and given that India is now striving to become a developed country by 2047, the goal of Viksit Bharat cannot be achieved until we have, our presence felt in each and every sector in the international stage. As a part of the exercise, opening up of the legal professions equally is coupled with the various reforms undertaken in the law. As I mentioned, that the year I passed out was 1991, and if I have to read the laws of that time, it totally changed. The scenario has totally changed. Since last 11 years, most of the laws which have driven the economy have been, reformed, updated, and the whole legal system has been, brought afresh. And many important legislations have been reenacted, including the 3 criminal laws, the Companies Act, the Consumer Acts, and so on. The IBC is a great leveler and has put, helped India by leaps and bounds in their ranking in the Ease of Doing Business Index. We were, I think, 142 in 2015, and now we are presently 63. But the enforcement of contract regime, where we have not done that well, we still are, I think, at position number 163, the enactment of the Commercial Courts Act, the reforms in the Arbitration Act, and the enactment of the Mediation Act. I think that is also something which the legal profession should look forward to. The endeavor to make India a global hub of arbitration, coupled with the enactment of standalone laws as the Mediation Act is there, surely I think serves a great opportunity for the young budding lawyers to dedicate themselves as arbitration professionals or mediation, because given the burden of pendency in the Indian judicial forum, the courts and the tribunals, it's the alternative dispute resolution mechanisms which offer a ray of hope for early resolution of disputes, and particularly those with regard to the commercial disputes. So I think a beginning has been made. It's a good beginning. I'm happy that the government has been, so proactively, and being a part of the government as legislative secretary, most of the legislative proposals go from our ministry to the parliament for its consideration and approval. So it gives us immense pleasure and delight that we are in some way able to contribute to the reform in the legal regime. And of course, reform in the legal regime has a big impact on the overall working of the economy, the growth of the society, and of course, the growth of Viksit Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mani. I think you know, you've touched on so many important things that we have already seen. I too congratulate the Bar Council of India, because I think this is really in keeping with the government's strategy, and the Bar Council of India are similarly showing leadership. I would like to ask Dr. Patra to provide perhaps some further comments in relation to perhaps more of what the government can be doing, or what you yourself think needs to be done in this.
In Hindi, I don't know if everybody understands Hindi. In Hindi, there's something called as Dharm Sankat. Being an opposition party member of parliament, you're asking me to speak for the government. Well, I think Mr. Mani has already done that bit. Let me be a little politically incorrect. Because if everything is hunky-dory, why are we here? That something more needs to be done. I'm a member of the Consultative Committee on Law and Justice. I was on the Standing Committee of Law and Justice when we vetted the mediation bill. And Mr. Mani is one of the critical pillars in the entire process of vetting. And whenever there is a legal opinion sought on any committee in Parliament, Mr. Mani and his colleagues are there with us. But the critical aspect is taking the bull by its horns. What is taking the bull by its horns is actually speaking up what is really pinching in the shoe. And right now, we had a tremendous opportunity with the Advocates' Amendment Bill coming up, which would have actually laid 2 or 3 critical areas very clearly. One, the treatment of general counsels and in-house counsels at par with that of litigating lawyers. 2, reforming the entire education process, as we know, in terms of what it should do with regards to technology. And 3, the cross-border understanding about litigation and general awareness and understanding about doing business. Now, in doing so, we lost this opportunity, and I do not blame the government, because Mr. Mani is here later and he'll say, yaar, aapne phasa diya mere ko. But I'm not disturbing the government here. I'm saying as a parliamentary committee, we should have been working more and asking more, saying that we need to implement it. Politics cannot overcome. If you want to be a $5 trillion economy, it's great. But unless you have cross-border trust, how can you going to become a $5 trillion or a $20 trillion economy? If arbitral awards that are provided by the Indian jurisdiction, for example, Justice Sikri is doing such a fine and wonderful, I'm so proud of that we have Justice Sikri at Singapore. Why is the same trust and credibility not for the Indian arbitration and mediation process? It's because we created a center by the government. We have appointed someone by the government. So whatever happens as an arbitral award is going to be questioned outside. So the way Singapore or Paris or London has institutionalized arbitration, can't we think of a similar platform? I've been in Parliament when we have passed all those legislations. And rightly so, nothing wrong with that. But we have to become alive to the fact that the world has changed beyond a certain perspective. The second, and which is there, that most of the, in fact, all the GCs, you provide work to litigating counsels in the Supreme Court, NCLT, etc. Have you ever asked them that why you're not part of the litigation process? Whenever I also appear a few matters, and then when we go in front, the lordships say that please persuade us, please assist us to understand the matter. Persuade and assist. Can't a general counsel, along with a litigating counsel, be able to persuade and assist his lordships? You can. So the question is, why are you not there? I think those are questions and conversations that needs to be addressed. It is not about who can, who can't. Anyone and everyone, including a person, individual, can go and persuade his lordships to be able to undertake a specific direction within a matter. And therefore, we need to call a spade a spade. We can run around in circles as long as we want. I'll stop, time is taking over. But I think I can afford to be politically incorrect on this platform. And I believe that all of us, including a parliament, I think the government has done a good job. I'm an opposition party MP. I'm telling you the government has done a good job. It has been able to, the series of reforms that you see in the ease of doing business, the Jan Vishwas bill that has come, the decriminalization of various aspects of law, it's phenomenal. We have addressed it. But as far as this context of General Councils Association of India, we need to be able to address these specific concerns, put a timeline. May I suggest, as one parting suggestion, I don't think we'll have a second turn, I would request the GCAI to write a letter to the Honorable Minister saying that there is a conversation where members of the Consultative Committee of Parliament of Law and Justice want this issue to be debated, and you refer to me. Recently, we were all together in Ladakh, and we talked about one nation, one election. Mr. Mani was there with us. Similarly, in Delhi, in the next coming few months or few weeks, a consultative committee, which is headed by the Honorable Minister himself, it's an executive-headed committee, can go into the merits, where both those who do not want it and those who want it can appear, apprise, engage, debate, discuss, and come to a conclusion. Otherwise, we keep running around in circles, we talk pious platitudes, but we don't get where we want to get. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Patra. I mean, it's good to see some bipartisanship, but also, putting out a challenge. That is the type of discourse we want, and you're quite right. I mean, the recognition of General Counsel, in-house counsel, in so many countries where they are recognized, I think that is certainly an important element that is missing here in India, and hopefully the government will pay close heed to that as well. Hemant, I'm going to come to you because, at the end of the day with corporate India, you are the client, you are the business. What is it that you want? What is it that you think is missing? And how are we going to fill that gap?
Minnie, today I'm not going to speak as a general counsel because there is no representative from the business side. So I'll speak like a business counsel. Now, frankly, if you ask any businessman today in India that do you want litigation, do you want to go in arbitration or court, civil court or any court, they will say, no, sorry. We want to settle the matter and close the matter. Otherwise, I don't know whether it will take 10 years or 20 years or 30 years to receive the final judgment. This is the situation. Now, having said so, I feel that some steps have been taken very good by the government. One is that in 2024, some amendment has been made in the Arbitration Act. But again in 2024, there is one circular issued by the Finance Department. Through that circular, only for a minimum, say lesser amount, say 5 crores rupees, you can go for the arbitration. For higher amount, you can't go for the arbitration. You can't, the dispute resolution is not the arbitration. This is one of the area where I would suggest that government should rethink it. Second is, my suggestion is that we should also encourage institutional arbitration. Because there are many cases, as a counsel I have observed, my witness is cross-examined for 2 years. That was not the objective of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act. The time period is fixed, 1 year and 6 months. And I have not come across how many arbitration that is closed in 18 months or 20 months. And thereafter, there are good judgment of the Supreme Court where they do not interfere when there is a Regent Award in the 34. But again, trend has slightly changed. So as a businessman, I would suggest that these are the area where we must think over and try to make some aggressive decision. And those decisions are A, try to just withdraw that notification of the Finance Department. B, whatever the decision given by the Regent Award, by the arbitral tribunal, a very minimum cases, it should be interfered by the court in 34 and in the higher court. Thank you.
Thank you, Hemant. Any of the other panel members want to add to that before I move to technology and AI? No. I do want to touch on tech and AI. I feel that this is another part of the revolution of the legal sector. And we are very pleased because we have a number of, well, we have a particular panel member whose job is very much on that topic itself. So please, Anshul, would you mind telling us a little bit more about what we can do in terms of the legal sector from a tech and AI perspective? How are we going to create opportunities when we have such big workforces, but those workforces themselves may be impacted by the utilization of tech and AI in the legal sector?
Sure. So let me just first touch upon the broader theme here, which is Viksit Bharat by 2047. So that Viksit Bharat also would mean that all the businesses would be growing, the GDP would be growing, the economy would be growing. There will be a lot more contracts, a lot more documents. There will be a lot more workload. And that is a nuance or an indirect way of looking at that your workload is only going to increase from here. It's not going to decrease. And as you go and end up building cross-border trust, you are going to have a lot of these conversations either around arbitration, either around ensuring that the justice is timely and transparent and accessible. But coming to the crux of all of this, right? So I think we all understand why this whole topic is important and why we are all here. I'll come from a very tech point of view because that's what I have done last almost 1.5, 2 decades of my life. Being an AI researcher, turned entrepreneur, and did like a couple of companies here. One of the most important parts, which I think we all have to emphasize upon, and that's what makes this particular event so exciting for us, is upskilling and building proper awareness in the world that's moving faster than ever, and where even me, myself, being in the world of AI, I'm unable to keep up with what is coming as a new model, what's coming as the new nuanced problems. How do you go about using AI systems responsibly? So I think it all would start by building a pretty comprehensive infrastructure around awareness, skilling, and ensuring that now you are starting to go with a digital-first infrastructure when you go about looking at the whole legal fraternity. Second part is when we talk about what kind of jobs, and the jobs would be impacted, right? I mean, I'm being very, very practical and very pragmatic here. We are going through a transformation where the definition of what the day-to-day life of a general counsel looks like is going to change fundamentally. You are not going to be able to work on the first draft for days at a stretch. You are going to start with a zero draft coming from an AI. And we are already starting to see organizations where the policies have started to change that the first document has to go for redlining instead of first drafting. So what that means is people who are adopting AI tools, and now these tools are pretty comprehensive. They are very, very established, very trustworthy. If you go about adopting them, you are going to supercharge your workflow and create more efficient outputs. If you're not going to supercharge yourself either from a point of view of awareness or adoption, it's inevitable that people, their jobs are going to be affected, and that is what is exciting when we talk about our relationships and partnerships with several law colleges. The third part, which I would just leave an element there, when you really make the legal fraternity better aware, they know how to demystify, declutter, defog what is the myth and what's reality. And I think that's a big problem we see in the ecosystem, where we end up either believing a hype that is exaggerated, or we do not, we understate the risk associated with using certain types of tools. And I think that is where the last point I would leave is, you have to really look at the systems that are built, whether they are built for India, for our nuanced laws, or was it a system built in Silicon Valley for a different kind of a legal ecosystem altogether. So I think those are some of the key elements. So awareness and the digital infrastructure would be two key areas that I would believe the government must look at. And for people who are going to really coming out in the job market, you really have to look at upskilling yourself. It's inevitable. It is going to come out faster than you would ever imagine. And I do not really right now see any workflow where AI would not be inevitable.
Thank you. So coming back, we've now looked through the lens of legal reform, the government's strategies in that regard. We've looked at the challenges, both from a business side and the encroachment of and utilization of legal tech and AI. So now I come to the business side of government and the Ministry of External Affairs. Mr. Singhvi, can you please share your thoughts in terms of where these enhancements of the legal sector, the strategies that we've been talking about, where do you see that fit in terms of providing opportunities for business and foreign direct investment into India?
Thank you. First, let me congratulate Dr. Gemawat. I remember this association started around 5 years back on a golf course, ITC Bharat. And I'm very happy to see the progress which we have made. And today, from golf course to Bharat Mandapam, it is indeed a progress. And I must congratulate you and your colleagues, Dr. Akhil Prasad and others, for making this happen. And providing a platform for discussions like this, I think this is really commendable. Coming to the topic of the discussion today, which is Reimagining India's Legal Foundations for Viksit Bharat 2047. I think legal reforms, of course, is one area which we need to do. Technology, since I handle technology, so I'll talk about a little bit about what technology can do in terms of enhancing our efficiency, justice delivery, the way the legal system operates in India. I think there is a lot which can be done with the help of particularly artificial intelligence. We are talking about artificial intelligence everywhere now. It is a buzzword which is, in fact, no more a buzzword, I would say. The transformation is happening with the AI. Even the courts have started using it. If I'm correct, I've been told that even the Supreme Court now has something called SuPace, kind of a tool which assists them in legal research. Honorable Supreme Court judges are also taking help of that. So I think going forward, use of technology would certainly create a lot of opportunities in the legal system. And we need to do that. Our world is going to be more complex. Our transactions are going to be more complex. As we move towards Viksit Bharat, we would be attracting a lot of FDIs. There will be a lot of contracts which you will have to have from the outside world. Even in the analysis of geopolitics around the world, because that affects a lot. We do it in External Affairs Ministry on a regular basis. I think all these things can be certainly, to an extent, can be simplified or maybe made quicker by the use of artificial intelligence. Similarly, the justice delivery system can certainly benefit from artificial intelligence. I think two aspects which were talked about was whether, I would say the legal system or the law as such is both a science and an art. So the science part of it, which includes research, which include analytics, which include data, I think can be taken care of by artificial intelligence. But when it comes to art side of it, where you need, persuasion, empathy, justice delivery, or, judgment, I think there perhaps the human in the loop or we need to have the human consciousness also embedded into it. So artificial intelligence is certainly going to create a lot of favorable environment in the times to come. Even the new e-court system, I was told, is now moving towards using AI to make, even it more efficient, so that the case, grouping systems or listing systems, all these things can be improved in the courts. So I think there is a lot of things which can be done with the use of artificial intelligence in the legal sphere. And going forward, technology would certainly play a role, but we need certain safeguards also. We need to have, a strong data protection framework. which is very, very essential. It's not that everything can be done with the help of AI, and we need to be conscious of the fact that you are dealing, also as a council, you're dealing with the confidential data of your clients. So you have to make sure that the confidentiality remains. Also, we need to take care of the algorithmic bias, which I think peeps into the artificial intelligence systems sometimes. We cannot use artificial intelligence systems or the models which are outside are being used in, say, US. We need to use artificial intelligence which is developed in India, the models which are developed in India. So I think that is something very important. The government is already doing a lot of work. We have launched an AI mission with an outlay of more than 10,000 crores. MIT is working on that. We are building our own sovereign LLM. And in that also, there are a lot of opportunities which would be available to the legal fraternity to build their own applications, find way forward to make them more efficient. So AI would certainly be there. As a closing remark, I would say that, AI is already there and it will continue to be there. The lawyers need to adopt it. If you do not do it, I think you will not be successful in the times to come. So be prepared about this. Prepare yourself. Use of AI, I think that's going to make you, take you forward and also make the country, move towards the Viksit Bharat vision in 2047. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Singhvi. We have come to the end of our session. When Akhil said we're going to do this session, and he told me I was going to have 7 panel members, and not just 7 panel members. As you know, these are the most eminent panel members. I'd like to thank you. I'm sorry I didn't give enough time. Oh, yes, sorry, go ahead.
I'm already on extra time, just a few words. See, in the last 30 years, the kind of transformation we have seen in the legal profession has been phenomenal. When I started my practice, what we used to have is rent laws, customs excise, taxation, minor disputes. Now, in 30 years, with the growth of business in India, we have private power sector, we have aviation, we have telecom. The entire practice has changed from usual commercial disputes to regulatory practice. We have been able to cope up and deal with this situation in so many years. What we have also seen is the change in the in-house setup of various companies. I remember in-house lawyers or the GCs used to be 4 or 5 in each company. Now Mr. Hemant Kumar is running a mini law firm within L&T. There's a big change. So what we need to do now, according to me in short, is next 10 years is going to be a further big sea change. And unless we change, we won't be able to deal with it. We already have with us Baker McKenzie, Stewart, all big law firms here. And we as Indian lawyers have to compete with you and match your prominence and competence. So what we need and which we are missing is a continuous legal education while we are working. So new topics are coming up. We are dealing with them, but there is absolutely no system of education while you work. So I think with National Law School or even GCI, some things should be set up that there is education with regard to the new fields like digital finance, AI, space. Continuous legal education has to be there to deal with all this. And last of all, like Mr. Patra said, the general counsel, so the in-house legal counsel, I see, are actually doing more than what we do. They are the business enablers. They look at the business side and also advise on transactions, advise on law. I don't see why they cannot represent their companies in court and be part of the legal practice. If not in courts, at least in the regulatory network, they should be allowed.
Perfect end to the session. Thank you so much. Let me thank all of the panel members. Again, we had a very short period of time to cover some very important topics, but I'm sure we can talk further in the break periods that we have. So thank you.
Thank you so much to all our guests. I would please invite Ms. Manjri Chaudhary, Founder GCI and General Counsel, and Chief Compliance Officer Maruti Suzuki, to please come and felicitate our guests.